Okay, as promised, we are back, and before you attempt your exit ticket for the day, here is a look at some of the questions that might have given you some trouble, slash some questions I thought would be some very good examples. So, let's look at number one, question I 84 minus 6. Well, this one on the surface looks a lot like all the other ones we've done so far. So, why did I pick this one? Well, I know that larger numbers can be intimidating. And maybe to this point you feel comfortable working with numbers, say up to 30, maybe even up to 50. But 80? That number is pretty big. So maybe someone might be feeling a little scared about this. And that's okay. So let's work on it. What's our first step? Always. Right, we take 10 out of 80 and we number in a number bond. Okay, so let's see. 8 minus 1, that equals 7. So that means 80 minus 10 equals 70. So if we take 10 out of 84, we end up with 70? Question mark? Nope. We can't forget the 4. 74 is what's left over. Okay, so now we can go to step 2, which is where we take 10 and 6 and subtract it. 10 minus 6 equals 4. Good. Step 3. Remember, we always add our leftover numbers. So we add the 4 to 74, and we get 78. We can count on from that too. 74 plus 1 is 75. 74 plus 2 is 76. 74 plus 3 is 77. 74 plus 4 is 78. Our answer is 78. Okay, let's move on to the second one. I picked up 42 minus 8. Why? Well, again, each of these questions is looking at numbers that have values in the ones place as well. So I picked ones that might be a little weird for us to do. Okay, so first step is always we pull out 10. So let's see. 4 minus 1 equals 3. Let's move this up higher. 4 minus 1 equals 3. So 40 minus 10 equals 30. So then 42 minus 10 equals 32. Because all we're doing is adding 2 onto the 40, which then goes over to this 30 later on. So if we pull 10 out of 42, we end up with 32. All right, next step. We do our 10 minus 8 first, which equals 2. And then the next step after that is we add together our remaining numbers. 32 plus 2 equals 34, which gives us our answer. If you noticed, I've been color coding things. So like when we're number bonding, we're doing the number bond in green, and I put all the things with number bonding in green. And then I split up our questions by where things go. So our first step is always going to be the 10 minus the other number, which is why it goes there. And then our second step is always adding up the two remaining numbers in red. Said, if this is at all confusing, you always have these videos to look back on. These aren't going anywhere. All right, last one I picked. That's right. I didn't choose to do the word problem this time because I really believe that you guys can do that one by yourself. I firmly believe in your skills. So let's take a look at this one. Here we have 61 minus 5. Let's find out what that equals. First step is always pull out the 10. So 6 minus 1 equals 5. So that means 60 minus 10 equals 50. But we have a 61. So 61 minus 10. We still ended up with the 50, but we got to carry that 1 over, so we get 51. So when we pull 10 out of 61 as a number bond, we're left with 51 afterwards. Okay, so second step. 10 minus 5, we know that one. It's a friendly number question. 10 minus 5 equals 5. Now we move on to our third step, which is adding our leftover numbers. So 51 plus 5 gives us, well, let's see, 1 plus 5 equals 6. So 51 plus 5 equals 56. 56. And that is our answer. I feel like if I explain things more like this, or I break it down into like the simple things you know how to do and then extend it, it might make a little more sense as to how I'm doing math so quickly in my head. So for the number bonds, I showed here that we know that 6 minus 1 is 5, so 60 minus 10 is 50. It's the same numbers up front. There's 2 6s, 2 1s, and 2 5s. We're just putting zeros behind them. In this case, there's still the 6s and the 1s and the 5s, except we have to look at the second part now. 1 minus 0 gives us 1 still, so that's where we get the 51. Here, I decided to show you step by step how this one works. 51 plus 5 equals 56. How did I get that? Well, 1 plus 5, because this number, let's do this in white. This number here is a group of 1s. This number here is a group of 1s. So we add those together. 1 plus 5 equals 6. So therefore, 51, because that gets carried down 2, plus 5 equals 56. And that's how we got that answer. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Go ahead and attempt your homework. Make sure that you've caught up with your Zern for the week, because I will be making emails and phone calls to parents this week if I don't see any progress in your Zern. Okay? Take a deep breath. It's the weekend. You have a long weekend too, so once you're done with all your work today, make sure you get some rest, okay? Have a good weekend, everyone.